is there. Dear Nosy, I want to compliment you on your ability to make noise in your shop day and night. When I am sitting on my deck, there is nothing I enjoy more than the sound of constant hammering and sawing coming from your shop. I especially enjoy it when you work late at night. There is nothing more soothing when I am trying to sleep. If you are such a good woodworker, let's see what you can make from this box of scrapped wood. LOL. Anonymous. I wonder why they call me Nosy. I wonder what they're up to. I wonder what they're up to now. I wonder what they're up to. Hey everybody, welcome back to Worship Guitar Now. I've been away from the camera for about 2 weeks now with an injury to my back. But I'm back and ready to make some videos that I hope you're going to enjoy. As you've seen in the first part of this video, my neighbor Ned Flanders donated this box of scrap wood to me. And I'm always up for a challenge. One thing that I've been needing lately is a stand for my Boss Katana 50 amp. And I think this is just the wood to do it with. I'm not going to bore you with a long drawn out video watching me cut and sand the wood. After I cut and sand all the pieces, we'll meet back here and we'll assemble this together. I'll measure all the pieces along the way. That way you'll be able to make your own beautiful amp stand for your Boss Katana 50 or for any amp. We'll meet back here in a bit. Okay, we're back. I've got all the pieces cut. I've got them sanded. And the other thing I did was pre-drill all these pieces. I didn't want to waste a lot of your time watching me figure out where the holes go and to drill them and to do the pilot holes. So I'm trying to save a little bit of time. And I pre-drilled everything ahead of time. So now all we have to do is assemble it. And like I said before, I'll measure each piece along the way. So you'll have the exact measurements that if you have a Boss Katana 50, you'll be able to build this exact stand. The other thing you can do is adjust the measurements a little bit and make this stand to fit any amp that you have. So let's start with the base. We have the two runners for the base. And all of this material is 3/4 inch thick material. I'm using pine for the runners for the base. And I have two of these pieces. And these pieces are 3.5 inches wide by 23.25 inches at the longest part and 21.25 inches at the shortest part. Now if you want a different angle, you can do it accordingly, but those are the angles that I used. That'll get us started. I have the one cross brace also that the front side of the amp sits on, and it's made out of 3/4 inch thick material also, pine, and it is 2 3/8 wide, but it doesn't really matter. You could make it 2.5 or 2 inch or whatever you want. And it is 15 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble those three pieces first. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to turn it around. And I have a back skirt piece on it. What I want to do is I want to get it all semi-assembled here so it's easy to work with and the pieces don't twist and turn. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put this cross piece in here at the back. It goes on kind of an angle like that. And this piece again is 3/4 of an inch thick. It's made out of pine. It's 2.5 inches wide and it's 13.5 inches long. And what I'm going to use to put that in is just 4 of these 1 1/4 pocket hole screws. Because it's a piece that's going to be seen, just like so, is I put pocket holes on the inside. That way when it's done, there's a nice neat finish. And that's that. You can see a nice neat finish on there. The screws that I used for that were 1 1/4 because I didn't want them to poke through the side. Okay, we're going to turn this around again. And the next pieces that we're going to install are these cross braces in the bottom. And the reason I put those in is because I want to put these 4 casters on at the end. And there needs to be something for them to bolt to. These cross pieces are 3/4 pine. They're 2.5 inches wide. And they're 13.5 inches long. So I'm going to flip this over, like so. Now, I could tell you exactly where I installed the braces, but depending on the way you configure for your amp, those braces might need to go in a little bit different area. Wherever you want those casters to end up is where you'll put those braces. So I had to take a little break and re-drill a couple little pieces that weren't just right. I could have left them as they were, but I really want to make sure this thing is strong enough, holds the weight of the amp, and that everything is drilled right. Now we have our basic frame made. As you can see with the runners and their angles, that's what it's going to look like sitting on the ground. The next thing that I want to install is our uprights here, and there's 4 of them. And the hardware that I've chosen for that are these 2" by 1/4, I believe, castle bolts. Yes, they're 2" by 1/4, and they're castle bolts. And the reason I chose those is I'm going to paint this frame black. And I've got a couple nice pieces of wood, one for the front skirt and one for the top, as you'll see as it goes along. But once this is painted black, I want to give it that industrial type look. So I chose those castle bolts. And now I'm going to install those 4 uprights. And they go as follows. As you can see, this is kind of starting to take shape now. This is going to be the back. There's going to be a little platform on there. This is going to be the front where the amp sits. But let's keep going. Okay, just took a tiny break there. Now I think the next thing that we'll do is we'll install those casters. And what I'm going to use to install those, I'm just putting them on temporary, because when we're done here, I'm going to give this a couple coats of black paint, so I'm going to have to remove them again. But I want to put them on temporary because I want everybody out there to see just what this is going to be like when it's all done and how it's going to function. So all I've done here is I've used some 1.5" screws. They're probably a little bit too long actually, but I'm going to use them anyways because like I said, I'm only putting these on temporary right now, and then I'm going to take them off to paint the unit. Okay, so now we have our four casters temporarily installed. And you can kind of see the way this is going here. It's going to be easy to move around with the amp on even. And I think when we're finished, it's going to be really nice. My next piece that I want to install is this front skirt that I've made. And what I've used here is some tap hole maple. It's got some really nice figuring to it. And once the frame and the rest of it's painted black, and I put a coat of varnish on this, I think it's going to look really nice. And going with the industrial theme, I've picked these little 1.5-inch lag bolts here to install this with. I've really been wanting a stand for my Katana amp, but I really haven't wanted to spend the $150 to $200 for a little stand that they have that doesn't really even look like much. I kind of knew that I could build my own and I could make it exactly the way I wanted it. I'm just going to step away from the camera for a moment, but I'll be right back and we'll finish this up. Okay, I'm back. I've got the wrench I need to snug this front up a little bit. And I'm not going to be too fussy with it because, again, I have to take it back off. Now this skirt is made out of hardwood. It's made out of tap hole maple. But the frame itself is made out of pine. So when you're using these lag bolts, you don't really want to tighten it up too much anyways. You don't want to take the chance of cracking that pine that you've spent so much time on already. So we'll just snug them up a little bit here. Okay, so you can see here the front skirt that's on there, what it looks like. The other thing I have is I've made a top for it out of tap hole maple also. The thing that I want to do right now is I just want to snug these side pieces up a tiny bit there. I don't want to tighten up too much because the holes that I've pre-drilled for the top, I want to make sure they all line up just right. Kind of need a little bit of a bigger workbench here. Sometimes my material falls off the side, but you know what, this will do for now. I usually work in my wood shop most of the time unless I'm filming, but today I'm filming it for you, so I'm working out here in the shop where I store my motorcycle. Okay, now this is the top that I've made for it. What it is a little shelf that sits behind the amp, and you could set your coffee on there or a couple pedals, kind of anything you want. I guess if you're a smoker you could put an ashtray on there, but what I'm going to use it for is just to set my coffee on when I'm playing. I want to make sure I get this on the right way, but you kind of only get one shot at it. And again, going with the industrial theme, I'm going to use these little lag bolts that I've got. And I'm going to just break for a moment, just to run the drill through the top of this again, because I want to make sure everything lines up just right. So I'm back. I got that top all drilled. And I'm just going to attach it with 4 of these little 1.5-inch lag bolts. And again, I won't be doing too much tightening on them because, of course, I've got to take it all apart. And the last thing I want to do is spend all my time and all yours making a video of me tightening up 4 bolts. I know everybody's time's valuable, so I try to just do what I have to do in order to show how these things are made. Okay, you can really see it coming together now. You've got the spot here where the amp's going to sit. You got the nice front skirt. Picture it all painted black except for the skirt and the top here. They're going to be finished in a clear polyurethane or something. But anyways, it's kind of what it looks like. And it's really starting to take shape now. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. I couldn't really decide on the design that I wanted, so I kind of made up my own. And I think it's going to turn out really good. I'm going to go get my amp right now, and we're going to set it on this, and we'll see what it looks like with the amp on it. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I got the Boss Katana sitting on there, and it fits perfect. The amp's all black, as you know. So, I thought I would paint the frame itself black to match the amp. And the shiny hardware is really going to set it off. I think the front skirt and the top here, I'm just going to put some clear polyurethane on. So everything else will look black, with the exception of a little bit of hardware. And these two nice accent pieces. You know, you don't always have to spend a lot of money to get something that you want. It's really easy to go to those music stores and to order an amp stand. There's really not much to them, but for some reason they cost a lot of money. The same with the pedal board that I made. There'll be a link at the end of the video for it. But I thought, I don't really want to spend $150 or $200 on an amp stand that I don't really like anyways. And my neighbor Ned Flanders, he was nice enough to give me that box of old scrap wood. So as you can see, with some wood that somebody was going to throw out, we've went ahead and made this really nice amp stand. And it's on casters, so you can wheel it all around your house. And I think by the time I get the paint on and the polyurethane on the tap hole maple, this is going to be a really nice addition to my music room. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and please take a moment to consider subscribing to the channel. It's people like you who make this channel better.